After 12 years of waiting, Poland was finally able to watch its national team participate in the greatest football spectacle on earth, the FIFA World Cup. Having topped their qualification group, recognized as the 6th best team in the FIFA rankings, and led by Captain Robert Lewandowski, one of the best strikers in the game, it's safe to say that expectations were quite high going into Russia. Unfortunately, that joy did not last long as Adam Nevalka's side was promptly eliminated early on in the tournament, after having lost its first 2 games in the group stage. In addition, the team also faced harsh criticism for its lackluster offensive game, predictable play, suspect defending, and poor fitness levels, along with a slew of other overall complaints regarding the team that resulted in the Central European nation experiencing its worst World Cup in history yet. So what exactly went wrong with Poland at the 2018 FIFA World Cup? Well, the answer's not that simple, but a combination of several reasons, ranging from the coaching itself all the way to the player personnel. Taking players to the FIFA World Cup based on reputation and name rather than form will always raise red flags on any team. Unfortunately, Adam Nevalka saw no problem in this. He picked players who had built his reputation in the international stage, and completely disregarding whether they're actually playing games at their clubs or not. None of that was an issue to Nevalka. All he cared about was that they had brought him success at a major tournament before, so why not again? To make matters worse, he even decided to waste a spot on his 23-player roster on a player who was never even meant to play a single game. That player was Slavomir Petsko, an out-of-form 33-year-old winger long past his prime, with a notorious history of alcohol who plays on Lech Gdańsk, a team that barely avoided relegation in the Polish Ekstraklasa this past season. Petsko was only included for the sole purpose to create a fun atmosphere, and be the party guy behind the scenes for Poland. His inclusion on the team was actually one that came out of recommendation of Robert Lewandowski, who's pretty good friends with Petsko. While his addition to the team was good for Lewandowski, as he had a chance to hang out with his friend in Russia, it unfortunately was not that good for the team football-wise. This is because it limited Poland's bench options, which as a result saw quality-informed players like Przemysław Frankowski, Sebastian Szymanski, Szymon Surkowski, Taras Romansuk, and etc. stay home. So when starting winger Jakub Błaszczykowski suffered an injury at halftime in Poland's first group game with Senegal, Nevalka was already surely regretting his decision when he had no suitable options off the bench. This in turn led to Nevalka oddly replacing Błaszczykowski with Jan Bednarek, a center back when Poland was losing 0-1. Finally, Nevalka also pulled a Italy-Giovinco situation. Like in Italy, Gianpiero Ventura refused to call up the informed Sebastian Giovinco due to the basis that he played in the MLS, a supposedly inferior league, and choosing to ignore Giovinco was one of the reasons which ultimately saw Ventura fail to qualify Italy for the World Cup. A bad mistake that surely other national team managers would have learned from, right? Well, not Nevalka, who did the exact same mistake. In this case, he snubbed Adrian Mieziewski, who was one of the best Polish informed players at the time, all because he played in the A-League in Australia. Building off the last point, the bulk of the 2018 FIFA World Cup team, unlike the one at UEFA Euro 2016, were completely out of form and coming off poor seasons. Poland's squad was shockingly built off of players who either barely played or did not play at all. One notable example is Jakub Błaszczykowski, whose last competitive game played was back in November 2017. Apparently this wasn't a big deal as Błaszczykowski appeared as a starter in Poland's 2018 FIFA World Cup group opener against Senegal. And it didn't end there, as there were some players on the roster who were coming off injury or were still injured. Yet the players that were in form were either left home, or if they were chosen to go to Russia, then they were only given a reserve status. Adam Nevalka was never a top-tier candidate for the job, but rather an average Polish coach plying his trade in Górnik Zabrze, a club that was still bouncing in between the Ekstraklasa and the Pierwsza Liga. In fact, he was best known for his tactical limitations and overall stubbornness, having played the same losing squad over and over again until he had won. Thus, he was obviously not chosen for his pedigree, renowned tactics, decision-making, or anything of that sort. Nope, it was more of the case that he was a decent local economical option and good friends of the Polish FA president, Zbigniew Boniek. I still remember to this day how it was largely his fault that Poland did not get farther at the Euro 2016. His ridiculous stubborn decisions like leaving Lukas Fabianski in net for the penalty shootouts instead of subbing in penalty specialist Artur Boruc, or waiting far too long to make changes to the game which needed much needed substitutions, which even when he did make them were at times questionable. However, a lot of that was brushed aside due to the team's success in 2016, mainly due to Navalka having the luck of managing a very informed team. Unfortunately, at the 2018 FIFA World Cup, he was not as lucky and his limitations as a coach got exposed hard. Opting for last-minute experimentation during the World Cup, rather than the exhibition games leading up to the tournament itself, proved to be a costly gamble. Navalka attempted to make this look like he was a genius tactician, but instead showed with each game that he was way over his head. Not only was he playing odd formations, such as fielding only 3 defenders, something that Poland has never done before, but there was absolutely no game plan or strategy employed behind these decisions, and Maciej Rybus, after the 3-0 loss to Colombia, confirmed this by telling the media in a post-game interview that the team was never properly instructed on how or what to play. Both the Poland team and the staff saw themselves as favorites in Group H and thought that games against the likes of Senegal, Colombia, and Japan would be a piece of cake. Thus, going into the tournament, the Polish players were quite relaxed and comfortable, perhaps a little bit too much. Players were coming into training camp late, and their wives and girlfriends were flown in as well for the players to have days off with them to go shopping in Sochi. Some even had their minds elsewhere rather than focusing on playing football in Russia, such as Grzegorz Krychowiak, who was preoccupied with opening his luxury shoe store in Warsaw. To top things off, instead of training before their encounter with Senegal, Navalka chose to take the team out to watch a dolphin show instead. Not exactly the recipe for success in an international sports competition that requires sacrifice, sweat, and tears. Suffice to say, this all resulted in a team being poorly mentally and physically prepared for the tournament. Team chemistry also took a major hit, with several cliques being made within the Poland roster, the most famous one being Robert Lewandowski's entourage, which featured Wojciech Szczesny and Grzegorz Krychowiak. They were well liked by Navalka and could do no wrong, oftentimes even granted preferred treatment because they were so close to the captain. Meanwhile, Kamil Glik's and Lukas Fabianski's group was the one that stood against Lewandowski, and that caused dangerous divisions that not even Petsko could bandage up. Polish FA President Boniek later revealed that while before many players likened the opportunity to play with Lewandowski on the national team, those days had sadly passed and now it's quite the opposite. In short, it's clear that Navalka had lost his way with this team. The players no longer respect or wanted to play for him. Even if he had any ideas that could have helped, his nice guy persona ended up failing him and instead be pushed around by Lewandowski and friends into making decisions that only favored them. Navalka, as a Polish coach in this modern generation, surely brought a lot of positivity for football in Poland and made the country believe in its national team yet again. And for that, he will surely never be forgotten. Unfortunately, like all good things, his time in the Poland job has come to a bitter-sweet end. For more videos like this and news from the world of Polish football, keep it here to psnfutbol.com.